Everyone, welcome back to my channel. Today we're going to play a game I found on itch.io called Bloody Painter's Dating Sim. It's based off of Creepypasta. Let's start. With a severe headache, you wake up in an unfamiliar place. As you touch the bruise on your back, the back of your head, it seems you were hit by something heavy before you lost consciousness. An heavy iron chain tied around your feet. Someone has trapped you here. You try to remember what happened before you lost consciousness, but you can't recall anything. Let's investigate the surroundings first. Well, the room is surrounded by 4 walls without any windows, weirdly cleaned up, and no ashes or sand can be seen. Looks like a prison built by a germaphobe. Where to investigate next? Cell phone. No signal. I might be in a remote place, or underground, or just down the street. Where to investigate next? Mattress. There's a mattress on the floor. The mattress feels really hard to lie on. Where to investigate next? Meal. Near the door, there's a serving of spaghetti with tomato sauce and bottle of water. Also, a round plastic fork that's completely harmless was firmly attached. Give me a spork. It's still warm. It feels like it was sent here not long ago. Where to investigate next? Door. You peek through the door or for the keyhole, but you see nothing outside. I wonder where I am. Okay, an investigation. What's the next move? Yell for help. No answers. Listen, you can't hear anything, any sound other than your own breathing. The soundproofing in this room seems particularly good. Sleep. Yes. You lay on the bed. You try to sleep under this condition. Maybe it's the fatigue caused by nervousness, but you still fall asleep. Someone's coming. You open your eyes after hearing some noises. A tall man wearing a mask squatting on the ground, looking at you with his head tilted. He remains silent, as if he's sizing up his prey. He points to the plate on the floor, like indicating that you should finish your meal quickly. Thinking that the strange man might have poisoned the meal, you shake your head in fear. Seeing you have no intention of eating, he looks quite distressed. I'm actually allergic to tomato.
You can't die.
I know, I'm allergic to tomato, so even if I do, I'll probably die. Like coughing up a lung.
Not now.
He slowly speaks with a deep, steady voice.
The freezer is full.
I'm getting out of here. What does that mean?
The freezer is full, and there's no space for more. 7 days.
He pauses and thinks.
There won't be space until 7 days later.
I'm getting out of here. I need my yanderes.
If you die now, you'll rot.
What do you mean? So I only have 7 days left to live? He nods and walks out of the door. Wait, you can't just leave me here like this, please. Your cries can't stop the door from closing. Day one night. Let's investigate the surroundings first. Meal. A bread and a bottle of water. Door. You peek outside from the keyhole. You see the shadow of the man walking around. Seems to be busy with something. What is he doing? Mattress. Yes. Please try to prove your survival rate within 7 days. Day 2, morning. Let's investigate and look around. Meal. Empty plate. Door. You check the keyhole. You see something. You see that there is a vague figure at the end of the door. Observe quietly. You sense something wrong and realize what that is after narrowing your eyes. Yeah. It was a artwork made of a human body and not a human being. You hear the door open. You slowly push the door, and there's no trace of the strange man. First, you go into the room with large freezer, sink, and operating table. Then you open another heavy door. You find yourself in a room full of glass display jars. The jars are filled with specimens made from human body parts. It's like you're in an art museum. And this guy is totally Pigment. I'm running. Could it be that he wanted to freeze me as material for specimen artwork? Yep, my brain goes, I played Fallout. I killed Pigment in there multiple times. Got all the raiders and then killed them too before. You're thinking. You see this? You've seen the scene. The artwork. Run away. We're gonna go with the weirdest one. This is the norm. Admire the artworks. You look around and admire his artwork with relish. You look at them for 15 minutes straight.
Interesting.
You hear a voice coming from the corner. It turns out the man has been watching you from the blind spot behind the glass cabinet. I like them. They're so beautiful. The man goes silent with his head tilted for a couple of seconds after hearing your compliment. He seems to be thinking about something.
Don't you consider it cruel or bloodthirsty to them?
Yeah. About that, yes. No, I feel nothing at all.
You're such a weirdo.
You think, aren't you talking about yourself? After you have a tour in his display room, he locks you back in the small room you were in. You go to sleep and sleep to end the day. Your survival rate is increased. Day 3, night. Until noon, you don't see breakfast or lunch being delivered. You're already starving. You're waiting for him to bring dinner, but what you get is not dinner. Instead, you hear the door was opened. A light shines through the crack of the half-open door, looking like a intriguing invitation. You open the door and walk into the light. You first arrive at the room with the operating table outside of the door. But this time, the operating table is not empty. There's a defrosted human corpse on it. The man props out of somewhere. He unties the iron chains from your feet and hands the surgical knife in his hand to you.
First, where do you think the first cut should be?
His voice tone sounds cold, like the kind of teacher who gives students hard questions on purpose. Stab the corpse. Attack him with a surgical knife. Maybe beautiful works always come with some sacrifices. Without hesitation, you stab the abdomen of the corpse with the knife. But due to the lack of professionalism, the lines you cut were crooked and ugly. And this is where he gets close to you, close behind your back, and holds your hand. You both hold the surgical knife like the two of you are cutting cake together. With his hand, the lines you cut become smooth and clean. You could smell the ocean perfume on him due to how close you are. It seems to have sprayed it to cover up the smell of formalin. You can feel his warmth from your back, but his fingers are a little cold. He's focusing on cutting the corpse, and your hand keeps moving under his lead. He could have killed you or ignored you, but he didn't. You start to speculate on the purpose of its behaviors. Could it be that he wants someone who can ignore the cruelty and process and understand him? You think. After the happy creative time ends, you walked in the room you were in. You go to sleep to end the day. Day 4, noon. Until noon, you don't see breakfast or lunch being delivered. You're already starving. You notice that something is shining on the corner. A key. It seems like the man accidentally dropped it last night. You open the door with the key. You go past the operating table, where you two spent creative time together last night. Display room. Then you discover that there's unnatural, uneven marks from the wall to the corner. you find a trap door. After pushing the trap door, you see a normal basement storage room. At the corner of the storage room, you see a stair that goes up. It turns out that this is really an underground secret room, hidden layer by layer with a trapdoor. No wonder the sound insulation is so good. You walk up the stairs and see a heavy door, wooden board. You push it hard. What catches your eye is the interior of a cozy cabin. Then you realize the heavy door, wooden board you just pushed is the back of a bookcase. You look around and find that there are insect specimens everywhere in the cabin, and there's a reindeer head specimen hanging on the wall. Then walking into the living room. There he is. You see a young man with a handsome face, pale skin, lying on the sofa. The ocean-scented perfume and the faint smell of formalin emanates from his body. It's him. He's the masked man who kidnapped you, but he's not wearing a mask at this time. He's sleeping. His sleeping face has a ferocious expression. His neck sweating and he seems to be trembling. It looks like he's sick. At this time, you decide to take the opportunity to escape. Stay and take care of him. Oh, we're gonna be let's do this. You can't bear to leave him alone, so you reach out and touch his forehead. Whoa, so hot. You try to find something that can cool him down. Let's investigate. Living room. The living room is spotless, clean. Where to investigate next? Sofa. You can't think of a good patient to sleep on. Don't think it's good for a patient to sleep on the sofa. But you can't move him with your strength. Where to investigate next? There's a photo on the shelf. It's a photo of him standing at the entrance of the Durishiko Medical Hospital with a man in a doctor's robe. Where to investigate next? Man. His expression is fierce. He seems to be in pain. He's still having a fever. Where to investigate next? Special ones. It feels like he did them all. That workmanship of these specimens is exquisite. Where to investigate next? Shelf. Cocoa powder. There's a jar of cocoa powder and a cup on it. Let's make him a cup of cocoa. Where to investigate next? Bookshelf. You find Sue's profile files in the bookshelf. Name, Helen Otis, gender male. Birthday, October 1, 1980. Where to investigate next? Locked box. There's a box with a combination lock in the shelf. Investigation. Yes. Kitchen. The kitchen is spotless clean. Refrigerator. There's some ice cubes in it. These can cool his body temperature. Cabinet. You find some clean towels in the kitchen cabinet. A can soak the water in ice and place it in the patient's forehead and cool him down. Investigation. Yes. Investigation. You return to the living room, wearing out the excess water from the towel, soaking the ice water and placing it on his forehead. His fierce expression gradually softened. He once again notices fair skin and long eyelashes and his slightly curly black hair. If you didn't say he's a murderer, his sleeping face looks very harmless now. After a while, he wakes up to the scent of your brewing cocoa and sitting on the couch. Sitting up from the couch, he looks a little shocked. He looks around quickly and seems to understand what's going on.
Why are you doing this?
Because I see red flags and I go straight for them. I want to ask myself that too.
You saw me faint and didn't choose to run away. You're such a weirdo.
I see red flags to go towards. Is there anyone weirder than you in this house? You can't help but complain about him. You seem to see the corners of his mouth rise slightly for a few seconds, and then the atmosphere between you relaxes. He doesn't drink the cocoa he brewed for him. It seems that he is still a little wary of you. Can you tell me who you are?
Bloody Painter. That's the name they gave me for my modus operandi. If you find it difficult to pronounce, you can call me BP.
I can pronounce Bloody Painter. Even though he's told me it was just a nickname, at least you know how to call him now. After the brief conversation on the sofa, he does not lock you back in the underground secret room. Perhaps staying to take care of him when he fell ill was enough to prove that you won't run away. You get up from the sofa and continue to look at the specimen decorations in the living room. He sits on the sofa, crosses his legs, and picks up a bookshelf and starts reading.
By the way, you better not try to escape.
I had some opportune time a little while ago.
There are traps all around the cabin, and only I know how to get in and out safely.
I think it'll be fine. I'll stay here. Just go next door. It's a cabin, right? Sit on the sofa. Soon, a wave of sleepiness comes over you. Today, you fell asleep on the sofa in the living room, not in a cold underground secret room. Your survival rate increases. You see him busy cleaning in and out of the house early in the morning. I'll come help you too. After finishing speaking, you pick up a rag and bucket and join the cleaning. As you can't really see where this almost spotless house needs to be cleaned, you just take a clean wet rag and wipe it on the clean cabinet. Do you usually love cleaning this much?
It would soon be covered with a layer of dust.
It must be cleaned at least like this 1 or 2 times a week, otherwise it'll be covered with a layer of dust. Although he doesn't talk much. His tone and voice give you a gentle feeling, and don't make you feel nervous. You climb up the short ladder and wipe the high cabinet with a rag. Suddenly, a cockroach crawls out from the crack in the cabinet. You are so frightened that you lose your balance and fall backwards. You close your eyes. But what you get is not the pain of falling in the ground, but a warm feeling. You open your eyes and find that he's holding you like you're a princess. He catches you with the same old cold expression on his face.
Are you all right?
Perhaps to resolve the awkwardness, he asked, "I'm all right. It's just a cockroach." Hearing that word cockroach, he puts you down. He takes 2 steps back from the cabinet he just wiped, and then says calmly,
Don't come near here yet.
Why?
It's dangerous.
Psst. You can't help but chuckle at the thought of a murderer being afraid of cockroaches, especially when he has butterflies and other insects also pinned down because he murdered them too. And then there's this guy right here, and then there's the human body parts in the underground in the underground basement area. Fine, whatever you say. The interaction just now makes you feel a little warm from this cold murderer. At least you see more of his reactions and expressions. This is the rare relaxation you have felt in these tense days. He could have let you fall off the ladder, but he rushed over to catch you. Somehow you feel that after these days of getting along, maybe now you both have different ideas about each other than you originally had. It was only a queer relationship between a murderer who wants to hunt and a prey who's trying to escape. But now, it has an extra layer of friendship caused by interactions between you that have an indescribable sense of dissonance. Just when you pick up the old newspaper and prepare to wipe the windows, you find a police car parked on the side of the road in distance. 2 police officers getting out of the car and keep looking towards the cabin. At some point, BB is already behind you, looking out the window with you.
Wait for a second.
And then he walks out the door to talk to the police officers.
Is there anything I can help you with?
Are you Mr. Otis?
Yes, I am.
Have you ever seen these people around here? The police officer takes out someone's photos from his pocket.
Have these people committed a crime and are running away?
No, these people have been missing people around this area.
I haven't seen them before, but wolves and bears often appear around here.
Can you check out your cabin?
Yes, come in.
BB behaves very kindly and politely. After speaking, He leads the way to the police officers.
Please follow my footsteps.
I was gonna say that they're hidden in the underground, so that's probably why I feel safe. Please follow my footsteps.
I placed some traps near the cabin to protect against wild wolves and bears. You don't want to step on them.
The police officers enter the house and see you. Hello, this is...
An old friend who came to visit me recently.
You greet the police officers with a smile and a nod. At the same time, a police officer quickly looks through the missing person's photos in his hand. Then he puts the photo back into his pocket. It seems that your disappearance has not been discovered by anyone yet. You stand next to the bookshelf, blocking the entrance to the secret room. After searching around, the police officers find nothing unusual and leave. His trust in you increases. Today, you still sleep on the couch in the living room instead of in the cold basement. Half asleep, you hear the sound of someone approaching. When you notice that the person seems to be very close to you, you pretend to be asleep, and the person just looks at you, your sleeping face quietly. What's he thinking? The man stretches out his hand and takes it back just as he's about to touch your hair. He turns around and leaves. Day 6 morning. You see him busy in the kitchen for a while. Then breakfast is served in front of you. There's a piece of toast with just the right crispiness on the large round plate. A poached egg on top of the toast with some lettuce salad. The plate looks delicious. The drink is a cup of freshly brewed hot cocoa. The cutlery he gives you is still a round plastic fork with no offensive features. You sit at the dining table and start eating, while he sits on the chair opposite of you and flips through a book. It's still snowing outside, and listening to the squeaking sound of the fireplace, the atmosphere in the cabin is particularly comfortable. As soon as you ignore the fact that you're in the same room with the murderer who kidnapped you, everything is really relaxing. You look at him who is full of mysteries, and some questions arise in your mind. And you decide to ask carefully. Can I ask you a question?
What is it?
What book do you usually read? Pick the book next to you and read it. What work are you going to use me for? What's a book you usually read?
Usually, I would read some anatomy and taxidermy books, but today is different.
What are you reading today?
The Truman Show.
Wait, The Truman Show was actually a book? That was a movie. What's that book like?
The whole world that the protagonist lives in, including himself, is all just someone's creation.
Yeah, that's a book in a nutshell. But, I think that was a movie.
Everything that happens is watched by the audience, and there is no privacy at all. But he is completely unaware that he is in such a large theater. Very ridiculous, right?
I've seen the movie. Or I've seen parts of the movie.
I can't imagine this to happen in reality, or to me. If our world was like the Truman Show, how would the audience view the current situation?
Red flags all around. And me going full throttle towards the red flags. I'm pretty sure that's what the one's good thing thinking. It must be unforgivable.
I understand. After all, normal people cannot forgive me for such behavior. But I don't care what they think. I just want to complete my work. I have always been a selfish man.
Pick up the book next to you and read it. You pick up the book next to you and start flipping through. It's a book about the possibility of having a complete opposite version of yourself in a parallel world. Is this a complete opposite version of you? What do you think it would be like?
Oh, that book. Let me think. Probably a guy wearing a burgundy coat and always having a smile on his face.
Why is that? Why is it a burgundy coat?
Because I like blue. If he is the opposite of me, he should like red, right?
Not necessarily. What work are you going to use me for? He asks bravely. He looks up at you for a moment.
I was going to make you into some kind of doll at first.
At first?
Your eyes are beautiful, but if they are left alone, they will become rotten and sunken. So I would like to dig your eyes out and put them in a glass jar and soak them in formalin to preserve them. Glass beads will be placed in the empty eye sockets to replace the eyes. You look very pleasing to the eye, so I would also like to keep the head intact.
Thanks for the compliment.
You're welcome.
What did he say at first? Has his mind changed? You're curious, but you don't have any guts to ask further. Wait, let's see this.
Usually, I would read some anatomy and tack the Truman Show. But if our world was like the Truman Show, exciting, but
Oh, wait.
what a bunch of weirdos. Usually, the Truman Show. But if our world was like the Truman Show, but what a bunch of weirdos. Usually, the Truman Show.
Okay, wait, you gotta stop
But he is very. I can't. If our world was like the Truman
Excited.
Show, how would the excited? Why?
They may be attached by your charm and want to be killed by you.
Incomprehensible. But what a bunch of weirdos with good taste.
It's hard to tell him from the poker face whether he's serious, boasting, or joking. About the pod plants. I saw many pot plants in the shelves in the living room, but why are they all wilted?
I have tried my best. I don't know why they always die.
End of conversation. Yes. Day 6, noon. It's noontime. To thank you for making breakfast for me today, let me make you lunch in return. He frowns at you with an expression like, are you out of your mind? Don't worry, you said there's are traps outside the house. Only you know how to get in and out normally. Even if I resist you with a knife, I can't escape.
Okay, but I'll keep an eye on you. Don't try anything stupid.
Great! As for what to cook, and the ingredients, well, a bad idea flashed through your head, and curiosity makes you ask, Are you gonna eat human flesh?
No. Why would I do that?
I've had to deal with a couple of characters that do eat human flesh, so I had to ask that.
I just use human bodies as materials for making art, and I never think about eating them.
He's just Pikmin. I thought your murderers all did this, all had some degree of cannibalism.
Let's put it this way. Do you eat paint and painting tools?
No.
Just because I kill people to use as materials to make works doesn't mean I will eat them.
Have you tried?
Also, I'm different from those who have fun committing a crime and kill purely for the sake of killing. Don't confuse me with that kind of unprincipled guy.
Are you like Peter?
I wouldn't do anything unless necessary. You are here only because you witnessed the crime scene.
I see. After hearing this, you decide to cook him common dish. You look at the ingredients in the refrigerator. There are eggs, tomato, white rice, and some curry powder on the shelf. Okay, I decide. You turn on the oven and start to cook. BP watches the entire production process rather than worrying about you escaping. He's more worried about you blowing up the kitchen. Soon after, a normal curry omelet rice was served. He stares at the omelet rice without saying a word. Don't worry, there's no poison. Weren't you watching the whole process? He starts to move after you finish speaking. He takes a spoonful of omelet rice and puts it in his mouth. What do you think?
It's surprisingly quite delicious.
What's wrong?
Nothing. It's just that no one has cooked for me for a long time.
I can make you more if you like. You had a very pleasant afternoon. Day 6 late at night.
Hey!
You're woken up from your sleep by the man. His face is close to you. His blue eyes are staring at you. What's wrong? You sit up on the couch and rub your eyes.
Got to go.
Got to go?
I've noticed something unusual about the number of police cars patrolling nearby recently. They must have some relevant evidence and are doubting it. It is very likely there is an ambush outside. It's snowing heavily outside now, and I think it's time to leave now. Come with me or not, it's your choice.
Go with him. Red flags. Go with him. What do you want me to do? I'm fine with both choices, but I need you to look at me in the eyes and tell me, what do you prefer me to do? You stare at his eyes.
I prefer.
He hesitates to speak and looks away, looking like he's thinking about something. Hold his hand. Your behavior makes him a little panicked, and he doesn't seem to be good at this kind of situation. He knows his ears are flushed, and this unexpected reaction makes you want to tease him a little bit. What do you prefer me to do?
I prefer
After a moment of silence, he slowly speaks.
that you come with me.
He tries hard to look at you in the eyes and speaks his thoughts.
We'll set off early tomorrow morning.
Day 7.
Follow my footsteps.
You follow the shoe prints he leaves on the snow and finally succeed in avoiding the many traps around the cabin. Just as you are walking through the forest, you hear movements behind you. Freeze! In the snowstorm, several policemen were lying in ambush, chase after you. You ignore them and keep running forward. Bang! A gunshot crosses the sky, and you feel pain in your chest, left calf. You were shot. He turns to look at you. He's considering whether to leave you. Run! You got him. But he approaches you. And he holds you in his arms. You feel warmth on your forehead. He kisses your forehead. You feel the time freeze at this moment. The kiss is almost like a goodbye. Then he reaches you and runs forward, disappearing into the heavy snow. You're later taken back to the police for questioning. You say throughout the process that you were a victim. On that note, you're not lying. You don't reveal any necessary details. Since there's no relevant evidence to prove that you are an accomplice, the police can only release you after a long period of near interrogation. After that, two years passed. Now you live in a cheap little apartment. You lived in an ordinary life as if what happened 2 years ago never happened. Today is Halloween, and every household nearby is putting some thought into making decorations. But for you, this is just another day at work. When you return to your apartment after getting off work and leaving, the strange thing is that as soon as you open the door, you feel a gust of wind. Remember that you closed the window before going out. Just when you were about to close that window, you find a gift left by someone on the table next to you, next to the windowsill, a red rose. I think it's our bloody painter. You don't know why, but you have a feeling that BP has been here. Every Halloween after that, you received a rose at your residence. It's like a once-a-year greeting. Although he says nothing, the rose seems to tell you everything. Although you have certain similarities, you are two people from different worlds after all. Perhaps living your own life this way is the best outcome for both of you. Good end for two different worlds. So that was Bloody Painter. If you like my content, please subscribe, like the video, help out, and comment down below. See you guys next time. If you like this video, the link for the game will be in the description.